G'day guys, Ybot here, and I'm going to talk about my thoughts of France and my 2 months I spent in France and how the French people live. But before I do, this is a quick match at TDM on Old Town, and I do alright in this match. I played all day yesterday, and that's all I played was Gears of War 3, and geez, I did some really bad stuff. I mean, I get 8 and 3 and 2 downs in this one, but the previous match was 17 and 5 and 17, and I was just getting absolutely nailed doing stupid stuff, running out. But anyway, I played more conservative in this game and did all right. But anyway, just what my thoughts on France, guys, and why I think you should all go and see how the other side of the world lives. You try and kill my buddy's power. I don't think so. First thing I noticed about France. Well, okay, they speak a different language, and the women are hot. They like stinky cheese. Paris is a beautiful city. So I spent 5 days in Paris. It's the second time I've been there, and it is a beautiful city. It's easy to get around in. It's got the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, all that kind of stuff. It's an amazing city. And so I spent 5 days there. And after 5 days, I went down to a small village called Carcès. And I stayed there for about 9 to 10 weeks. Well, actually, no, more like 8 weeks, actually, sorry. And in Carcès, it's in the Provence, the south of France. It's pretty warm down there, very hot and dry. But it's a vineyard area, and they grow a lot of wine, and a lot of vines, and they do a lot of wine. That's their specialty, and their specialty is rosé. They've been doing it for about 2,000 years. Yep, you heard me, 2,000 years. So there you go, guys. It's the first thing you notice about when you go to Europe is their history. Now, I know a lot of you are from Australia, and a few from America, and a few from New Zealand. Mate, it's hard to fathom that you'll be sitting in a pub which is older than your Federation of Australia, over 200 years and stuff like that. And the village lifestyle. And I have to say, at first it was very hard to get used to their timeline. Basically, everything shuts at 7. There's really, by 12 o'clock Sunday, there's no shops open. They have a siesta down in the south of France. Kaboom, thanks for coming. And it's just a fantastic way of life, actually. It's pretty more relaxed. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do work hard. There are people that stick to the 35-hour week, but then there are other people which seem to do a hell of a lot more hours. And that's the guys looking after the vines and stuff like that. But it's very interesting how they do it, but it's just one of those many things in France that you just find fascinating, and how they have a majority of them have a 35-hour week. It is a socialist country, so they do have, I believe, medication's cheaper and things like that. But that's another thing I want to talk to you about, guys. The biggest difference I noticed between France and Australia, which I can say, is in the price of alcohol. Yep, that's right. And more importantly, God, this guy took forever to die. It was a bot. Look at him. We shot at him heaps of times and he just sponged it. Anyway, was the price of groceries and the respect big business have for small business, which is a big thing. And we don't have that here in Australia. And I'm going to get on my high horse here. We, particularly here in Sydney, and I'd say most of Australia now, are tending to go towards 2 major shopping companies, and that's Coles and Woolworths. And they own sorts of other things as well, service stations, petrol, poker machines, can you believe it? Yes, Woolies own a lot of poker machines, and alcohol shops, and they are pricing us out of. Groceries is just so much more expensive, guys, and nowhere near as good. I'll give you a classic example. In Paris, even the ads they have, if they have fast food for ads on limited time for kiddies programs, they have to put on the TV ad how much sugar and fat is in that product that they're advertising, straight on the TV. So there you go, guys. There's a big difference there. The other one is too, just the food is just cheaper. I just can't compare it. I bought a 6-pack and 2 bottles of wine at a little shop there, and it cost me €9.80. Here in Australia, that would cost me $25, right? And for nowhere near as good as alcohol, in my view. That's just a couple of things. And the other thing is at schooling, this is the other thing I picked up, guys, is that lunchtime, at school, if there's one parent working at home, comes and picks up the kid for an hour or so, and then takes the kid back. And it's stuff like that. The food, the sit-down dinner time, the food time is with the family, and the father comes back, if he can, at lunchtime, which is the majority of them down in the south of Provence, and spend time with the kids and have a meal with the kid. And I think that's fantastic. That keeps the family together and more social. And that's another thing I noticed. They do have a good work ethic, but they don't work too hard. And I never forget when I first went to France, a man said to me, in Australia, you guys spend too much money on your houses, on land, which you never truly own. He said, the most important thing is food and education. And yes, the French spend a third of their wages on food, and it really showed. It really showed. I mean, the quality of cheese, I mean, it's stinky, but you get a crack at it, man. That stuff it's the bomb. It's the shiznit. So that's a few of the major things. The other thing I think that, and it's great for the French, is they're incredibly proud of their language. And why not? It sounds beautiful. I mean, even a drunkard, I've never met one, but if he was drunk, he sounded fantastic with a French accent. So what I mean by that is, guys, when they do a movie, This is what I thought was fascinating. When they do a movie, they really select the voice actor to do the dubbing over. So, for instance, if it was Die Hard 4, okay, the recent one came out, there's one guy that does the voiceover for Bruce Willis for every film he does in France. That's right, the one guy. And it works. It works. Just by the way, that was such a noobish thing. I knew Emma, who I meet several times at the boot shop, got the boom shop. So what I do, I run in the open to get the Infinity when she knew exactly that's where I was going to go. So, you know, I totally made a newbie shot there, boys. Noob maneuver. But anyway, going back to these actors, they do the voiceover for all Bruce Willis and stuff, and eventually they can be their own films themselves. And that's what I noticed when I looked at their video games, and at least they had Halo, Gears of War, and Gears of War Judgment in French, with the French actors doing the dubbing over it. And I think that's really cool, guys. I think the little things like that, I think that's awesome. And I think it's really good that they still instill and keep their language that way. Because if you look how Australia's changed its slang terms, as well as the Americans and English and even New Zealanders, it's some for the best, some for the worst. So I think go the Frenchies on that one. Where I was, I loved their rugby. I'm not really a rugby person, but I got asked so many times to play rugby, and also am I a member of a bikie gang? But that's a whole different thing. Tattoos weren't so big in the Provence area. And so, yeah, with my 2 full sleeves, it sort of made a bit of a talking point. But I also got another tattoo while I was over there. So just the whole thing. Even that, tattooing is different. They have a tattooing school in France. Now, if anybody knows about tattooing here, it's pretty much you got to be good at tattooing, get to know the boss, and work at the tattoo studio and be treated like shit for several years, and hopefully you make a break for it. But no, the tattooist did a tattoo on my calf muscle. She went to a tattooing school. Wow. So there you go. There's stuff like that. Medication, music, DVDs, their video games are a lot cheaper, guys. We pay way too much for everything over here, and their quality of food is better. For instance, if you buy something which has vanilla in it, they have to put, by French law, by the food, the way it's governed, real vanilla in it. Not vanilla essence, not the vanilla crap we get. And little things like that, you notice the big difference. So when you come back here, you don't want to taste stuff like McDonald's and crap like that. Hell, you don't even want to do it over there. And going back to their respective small business guys, they have a boulangerie in France, and boulangeries are like bakeries, and they buy their baguettes 2 to 3 times a day, right, guys? But to give you an idea, where I went towards the last couple of weeks of my holidays in La Prade, which is right on the coast, not far from Toulon, they had a big thing called Hyper Casino. It's huge, twice as big as Coles. It had, you know, electronics and everything there. You would have thought it would have had heaps of bread in there. But no, it had bugger all bread in there. It had the worst bread I've ever had in France, actually, in this Hyper Casino. And why was that, guys? Because about a K down the road was a village with a boulangerie in there. And it showed absolute respect for the boulangerie there and didn't sell good bread products. So basically, it knew, and it still supported that little business. And there's a lot of stuff the French do in that way in their little villages. Like, Bill, I want to shut my restaurant on Monday. Could you open it? But on the following Monday, could I have the Monday spot? You know, they swap days around and work out with each other. They sit down and eat food in each other's restaurants for days on end, you know? And so they'll know when they're having days off, and they work it out in unison. The bars will shut at 7 o'clock or 7:30, and that's how it goes. And that's how it is. They're not cutting anybody else's toes off and stuff like that. And the other big thing is I find they're fantastic about socialising. When you get to a party, you got to kiss everybody on the cheek. Blokes as well. Yep, you can imagine what that's like. You get over it for a while, but it breaks down barriers and gets people talking. So there you go. Anyway, that's my little spiel in France, and here's Ybot meeting Emma again. And look, I hope you're enjoying these videos. I will be putting up more. Frag and tag. Tell me what you think, and catch you guys on the battlefield. And remember, be good to those people that own you, and always keep it positive, guys. Don't quit. Keep it positive. Catch ya.